our main man Dine. Enjoy your turkey and apple pie. Turkey is delicious as long as you make it right. All right, so I have written down that Dine has fire on his attack table, but he never uses it, which I thought was kind of interesting because maybe it shows that like Dine can use materia. But I talked to the Shinra Archaeology Cut crew, the last Elixir guys, and they said that also his fire move had like a unique animation. So they must have had more plans for Dine using fire as a specific thing in this fight, but then decided to get rid of it. I am curious as to whether or not they may have gotten rid of his fire attack because it made this fight too hard. Because this fight can be kind of challenging for a first-time player. And in the original game, you also had the magic defense bug. So fire would have done even more damage. So maybe they thought like, oh, fire's like makes the fight too difficult if you don't have fire protection, if you don't happen to have it when you go into this fight. It could have also been that they didn't want you to be able to equip the fire ring and make it like a free fight, but that doesn't seem... I mean, there's a lot of fights in this game that are free with elemental resistances, so probably not that, but it's a thought. Also, the Final Elixir crew let me know that Dine had a move that's similar to Rufus's Laugh. You know, remember back in the Rufus fight where if you do a small amount of damage to Rufus, he has a chance to just laugh as his attack? Dine had something similar, but it looked like he was gonna like yell at Barret. So you would do a certain amount of damage to Dine, and then he would like yell at Barret about Marlene or something. And that would have happened in the fight, which would have been really cool. I think there's probably enough dialogue outside the fight that you didn't really need it, but it would have made a cool kind of special thing about this fight if Dine like talked to you during the fight. At the start of the fight, he uses Needle Gun, and then at 75% health, he has a 1/4 chance to use S-Mine, and then at 50% health, he starts using Needle Gun and S-Mine as a combo, and then at 25%, he uses Needle Gun and Molotov Cocktail in a combo. And despite all these attacks having names like Needle Gun, S-Mine, and Molotov Cocktail, they're all just physical attacks. And they're all hit element. So even though Molotov Cocktail sounds like it's fire and looks like it's fire, they're all just hit element and they all just do physical damage. Now Molotov Cocktail is different in that it can actually hit all enemies, but because only Barret is in this fight, it doesn't matter. So that's kind of random. I don't know why that's like that. But other than that, they're all just the same exact thing, but deal a little bit more damage. And, of course, when Dine dies, he has a 50% chance to use Molotov Cocktail as a final attack, which I always found so weird. Like, you only fight this fight once. Maybe it's so that, like, sometimes developers like to put in stuff like this so that different people have different experiences, and they can kind of, like, talk on the school bus about the game and have different stories to share. But, I don't know, it always felt weird to me that his final attack has a 50% chance to go off. So sometimes he will final attack and sometimes he won't. But you only ever fight this once, so you would never know the difference, you know, unless you play the game multiple times. So it's kind of a weird detail, but I always find that strange. And also, the funny meme with this fight is that if you steal a right arm from the bombs in Mount Coral, you can win this fight just by throwing a right arm, which is extra funny because, you know, he be missing an arm and Barrett be missing an arm. But yes, the right arm from bomb does enough damage to one-shot him. I should have mentioned that you can steal right arms from the bomb because that is kind of a big deal because it's really overpowered for the time. But I was too busy showing off the funny glitch. But yes, you can steal right arms from those bombs, and they're pretty much the strongest item for a very long time. They do crazy damage. They kind of break the game if you steal a bunch of them. It's just like a bomb item. Not sure why they call them right arms, but I'll have to wait for the item trivia playthrough to learn what right arms are actually supposed to be. I was gonna say, so he's probably gonna start using Molotov Cocktail now. So just to show this, if I guard now, I'll take less damage from both of these attacks, even though it looks like it's a magic attack. And let's see if we get the final attack. Yep. I don't want to spoil anything for Rebirth in this playthrough, but I did enjoy the Dine section. I didn't have too much of a problem with it. But you can watch my playthrough of Rebirth if you want to know my real thoughts in the moment. And now I think we're good. Good till after the Chocobo race. Oh man, Aerith's Revenge. If you're watching this, and this is maybe like your first playthrough you've watched of mine, or first challenge run you've watched, and you're enjoying it, I can't recommend the Aerith's challenge run enough. I think the Aerith's Revenge challenge was one of the most interesting challenge runs we've ever done. It's kind of a combination of everything. It's a speed run, it's a challenge run, it's a deep dive into the mechanics of the game, it's a deep dive into the glitches of the game. We discovered so many brand new things during that playthrough. It's like the best all-in-one playthrough. Yes, all the challenge runs and Let's Plays that we talk about are on YouTube. We've been doing this Friday series for almost a decade now, where we do either a Let's Play or a challenge run every Friday, and then the episodes go up on YouTube throughout the week. There have been a couple, like, special playthroughs we did for Patreon. We did an extra Rebirth playthrough, like the hard playthrough for Patreon. We did a beta run of the scavenger mod when I was still finishing it. We did, like, a beta playthrough to fix stuff, and then we did the real playthrough on YouTube. But other than stuff like that, any challenge run or Let's Play that we talk about is always on YouTube. And if you go to my playlist page on my YouTube, they're all in playlists, so that's the easiest way to see where the see a nice list of all of them. But yeah, if you've seen the video that's called World's First Full Party Completion, that happened during the Aerith's Revenge challenge, so we made history during that challenge, as well as broke the game a lot. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite challenges we've ever done. Absolute lowest level is also one of my favorites we've ever done, but Aerith's Revenge is just such a great combination of all the things we've ever done. It even starts off as a speed run because we have to get out of Midgar quick enough to do Disc 1 skip. So it even starts off as like a mini speed run. So it's just everything. Yeah, it was truly pushed to its limits. And it was just such a great discovery because we really didn't know what we were going to do in that run. Like, we didn't know what was going to happen. We discovered so much during the playthrough. We didn't know that we were going to find a way to get the whole party together. We just wanted to kill Safer with Aerith. You keep getting better chocobos until you win. But yeah, you do eventually have to win. I don't think you can just fail forever and then they just give it to you. But maybe they do. I haven't tried that in a long time. But I'm pretty sure you have to win eventually. Kind of want that protect vest. Okay. So you two have double. Is there anything else I want to double? Not really. Let's just give you ice and restore. Actually, take a restore all, just for fun. All right, let me go to the bathroom again, and then we will do... We actually have a bunch of enemies to look at in this area. Bunch of gold saucer area enemies, and then we can go right to Gungaga and do those enemies as well. So we have a lot more to do today, actually. Okay. So, what do we have here? A couple different enemies. Let's start with... this. We're gonna need some tranks. I'm not even sure if tranks are gonna be enough. We'll see. So this is the Harpy. And you probably know Harpy because of the fact that he has Aqualung. So he's an early way to get Aqualung, which is super busted this early in the game. Way, way strong, like as strong, if not stronger, than getting Beta early. But it's pretty tough to get because it'll usually just one-shot you. But with Tranks, you can usually survive it. We'll see if we can survive it. The best way is Tranks and using that HP plus from the Junon game to hopefully have one character survive it. The name Harpy was obviously an incorrect translation. It was supposed to be Chimera. The enemy is very obviously a Chimera, but I guess the translators didn't know what a Chimera was. So they changed it to Harpy. There is another enemy in the English PS1 version of Final Fantasy V, which actually released after Final Fantasy VII. That looks similar. The name looks similar in Japanese, and they called that a Dorme Chimera. But in the PS1 version, it was changed to Quad Harpy. So here's the enemy here. And so they basically did like the same weird translation. I'm not exactly sure why. But in the English version of Final Fantasy V, this enemy was supposed to be Dorme Chimera, but they changed it to Quad Harpy. And then in this game, they changed Chimera to Harpy. So I don't know if like the same guy translated it or if they just wanted to stay consistent with Final Fantasy VII or what. But for some reason, both of them got changed to Harpy. He uses Aqualung after Claw, so you know it's coming after he uses Claw. And his coding in his AI is supposed to use certain moves based on missing health, but it isn't utilized, and instead he just uses them in a cycle. So if you look at the actual AI, there was coding in there to basically use his stronger attacks like Aqualung when he got lower in HP, but it doesn't work right, and instead he just uses them in a cycle. Which is actually nice, because then you know when Aqualung's coming. And if we look in the guidebook, we have another funny whoops. So the enemy that you fight in Cosmo Canyon, called Griffin, you can see down here. This is similar to the Death Dealer thing, but this time it's also spelled incorrectly. So you have Griffin, and then you have Griffon. And Griffon is actually the Harpy. So I don't know how this happens. First of all, it's the wrong enemy. Second of all, it's spelled incorrectly. Third of all, there's two entries of the same enemy. So this just couldn't be more wrong. But these stats here are actually the Harpy stats. And then this is the regular Griffin stats. So it's like the Death Dealer thing, but even worse, because they also spelled the second one incorrectly. Even though all they had to do is just look at the entry right next to it. So yeah, I don't know what in the world they were doing in the bestiary on the guide. Like, I don't know how you possibly make that mistake. And it's even crazier because the Harpy is like a completely different type of enemy too. So I don't know. It's very strange. Okay, let's see if we can learn Aqualung here without dying a horrible death. Yep. If I didn't have... I'm not sure if beta works. If I didn't have Sadness, that would have probably one-shot me. Would have been close. I think I would have just barely survived. I don't remember if Aqualung works on him. Beta works, so. There we go, we got early Aqualung. And then I think that's the only enemy in the desert that we care about. Now we have some enemies over here. Yeah, just out of probably luck, it happens to be another enemy that's like part different monsters, but yeah, totally different actual type of enemy. Okay, we have the Flap Beat. So the Flap Beat is the only source in the game for TS bombs, with the exception of getting a single TS bomb from the submarine minigame in the Gold Saucer. You get a single TS bomb for doing, I think, like the final or second to final mission in the submarine minigame. Other than that, you only get them from this enemy. He also has his Flying Sickle attack, which does way more damage than it should. I don't know why, but it just does a ton of damage. In challenge runs, it can be really scary. And it's also even worse in the original game because of the magic defense bug, because it is a magic attack. And it's also wind element, which makes it hard to defend against. So it's just a really scary attack in general. He also uses the Flying Sickle attack more if there's another Flap Beat in the fight that got defeated. So, which is pretty interesting. So if I kill one of them, they'll start using it more often, making the fight a lot scarier. But yeah, if you've ever done a challenge run where you have not very much HP, you probably know the scary nature of this Flying Sickle attack. We should steal a TS bomb while we're here. Yeah, Harpy is a bit of a weird enemy because once you can't go back into the desert once you lose the buggy. But at that point, you've probably learned Aqualung from Genova. We could go grab Big Guard, maybe. I could always just grab him later, too. Once it's easier. Big Guard's like right here, though. Alright. Mr. Joker. So, here is a picture of my favorite card, the Joker card. I just always liked the design of this card. I think it looks really cool. All of his cards are as follows. He has the Spade card, which just does a physical attack. The Club card, which does an Earth magic attack. The Diamond card, which seems like it's some kind of static damage attack because it does like the gill toss animation. but it's actually just a non-elemental attack. The Heart card, which cures you, and the Joker card, which may inflict death, but doesn't always. The chances of pulling the cards are actually pretty even. The Spade and the Spade card and just his regular physical attack is a 1/4 chance, and then all the other cards are 1/8 chance, even the Joker card. So the Joker card is actually just as common as the Club, Diamond, and Heart cards, but because it doesn't always work, it's still kind of balanced. And yeah, the Joker card can play us sometimes in like speedruns. But yeah, I found that interesting because I thought for sure the Joker card was like rare, but technically the Joker card itself isn't rare. It's just whether or not it actually kills you is rare. Let's leave him alive so we can see a couple of the cards. Most of the time you'll be seeing either his physical attack or the Club card. Or Spade card. Not Club card. I always thought it would be cool if you could manipulate them to use certain cards. Do you guys want to see all the cards? I'm sure you probably have throughout your playthroughs. I can speed it up though so we can see each one. There's the Joker. There you go, it missed. Spade. That's a diamond, I think? Nope, heart. Just need to see diamond. That's another spade. Another spade. That looked like a heart. Another Joker. There you go, now it worked. Club. And we just see diamond. Another Joker. Yeah, see, it misses pretty often. I don't know if it's like a 50-50 maybe. Another one. I think it's kind of cool that they did it this way. So most people casually will still at least see the Joker card. But it's not overpowered. Where's that diamond card? I've been low-key addicted to Balatro on mobile lately. I've had a lot of downtime with my phone lately, so I've been playing a lot of Balatro. This guy doesn't have any diamonds. He took all the diamonds out of his deck. He's playing Balatro. There it is. So yeah, this looks like it's some kind of special thing where it gives you money or maybe does static damage, but it's just a non-elemental attack. It's not very exciting. Which is sad because there is actually an attack in the game that increases the amount of money you get at the end of the fight. So they could have done that with that attack, but they just chose not to. Like the coding is already there. They just had to copy it over, but For whatever reason, they decided not to. Okay, we have one more fight that would have both enemies we need. Actually, no. We only have one more enemy we need. There they are. And we got the funny fight as well. So these are Spencer's. And this specific fight is another wrong warp fight that will take you to the debug room. So at one point in PC Any % runs, we were getting to this fight with a glitched state and using the battle ID of this fight to teleport to the field ID of the debug room and finish the game in under 2 hours. So just like that other fight I talked about last week. But at one point we were using this fight instead of that fight because we were on this side of the map. This enemy, the Spencer, only shows up in grass despite looking like a sand shark. So like it looks kind of like a sand shark type enemy. And in Remake, or I think rather Rebirth, they actually dig into the ground and jump out. But for some reason in this game, they don't have any attack that's like that, and they don't show up on the beach. They should totally show up on the beach at least. Even if they weren't going to do the animation, they should have at least made them a fight on the beach. But nope, they only show up in the grass field. And in Rebirth, they also got renamed to Sand Spitter, so they kind of went full on with that idea and made them like a sand shark. In this game, they're just kind of weird fish things. Another great enemy that's just upgraded in the remake, you know. They obviously had some type of idea for him, but couldn't really make it pan out. And then in remake, they were able to actually unlock their full potential as an enemy, which is cool to see. You can complain all you want about them like changing enemies in the remake, but this is one where obviously that was their original intention. They just weren't able to do it. Also, I love the name Spencer. I don't know why. I have a soft spot for enemies that have names that are like just regular names. I don't know why. It just makes me laugh. Makes me laugh when an enemy's name is just a regular name. That's probably why I named my cat Seymour, because I just love giving animals human names. I think it's just funny. Okay. I think that's everything here. Now we gotta go to Gongaga. And I don't actually know. I think he shows up in the grass here. I think all the enemies do. Except the special enemy. Oh god, we got the pincer. This is actually a really terrifying fight. So this is the Gagagandi. Another fantastic name for an enemy. Where is he at? There he is. So the Gagagandi has a 75% chance to open with Stone Stare, and then the rest of the fight, they only have a 25% chance to use it. And the original Japanese name was closer to Bajigandi, and I don't know why they changed it. Like, normally when they change the names of enemies, it's because it's weird to say in English, so they change it to make it a bit easier to pronounce. But Bajigandi is like 1,000 times easier to say than Gagigandi. So I have no idea why they changed it to Gagigandi instead of just leaving it Bajigandi. But maybe some crazy person thought that was easier to say. This is a really scary fight to get when I have like no MP. I think we'll be alright, though. Alright, then we have one more enemy in the grass, and then we have the funny enemy. Then I get the shill my merch. The shill enemy. The sponsorship enemy. Oh yeah, just wait. They get even more creative. Like the enemy names, I've always made fun of Final Fantasy VII for having ridiculous enemy names. And we even did that video a long time ago where somebody made me a quiz on enemy names. And that was really funny. But like a lot of them are really cool references and stuff that you would never know otherwise. And even if they aren't a reference, it's just cool that they're so memorable, you know? You don't just get Snow Wolf and, you know, just your typical RPG enemy names. There's just a lot that are really unique and cool in Final Fantasy VII. Okay, this is Grandhorn. This is the normal version of that boss Grandhorn we fought previously in the Fort Condor game. The Grandhorn is the only source in the game for infinite war gongs. The only other way to get war gongs is to steal from Behemoth in the Midgar raid, but once you do the Midgar raid, he's gone forever. So he is the only infinite source of them. The concept art, which I'll open up here. The concept art, which is really cool looking, shows him shooting some type of fireball, but only the commander version of the enemy has a projectile, and it's a poison breath instead. So this might be poison, but to me this looks more like a fireball. But none of these enemies ever use a fireball. The commander guy uses poison breath, and this guy doesn't have any type of breath thing. But yeah, I can't get over how detailed and cool these concept arts are. I never knew how detailed they were. I've seen a lot of like the character concept arts, and you figured the character concept arts will be pretty detailed because Tetsuya had ideas for these characters for quite a while before, like Red 13 was a character he wanted to make way before Final Fantasy VII was even a thing. So you expect the concept art to be pretty detailed, and then you also have like the Amano art of all the different characters way before the game was even made. But when you think of enemy concept art, you figure, you know, it'll probably be like just a quick sketch, kind of just for Tetsuya to like get his ideas on paper to then give to the combat organizers to be like, hey, this is some of the stuff we want. So you figure it's just gonna be like a quick sketch, but man, a lot of them are super cool and detailed. Do I not have steel? There we go. Would love to get some. Oh no, never mind, it's a drop, not a. Is it a drop or is it a morph? I think it's a drop. Yes. 14% drop. And I did not get one. Okay, time for the funny enemy. So we're gonna look for one, and then if it's not the funny fight, we'll run away and do the funny fight instead. Thanks, Alundro. Thank you, Livestream. Alright, so this is the touch me enemy. But we don't want this fight. We don't want this fight. We want the funny fight. So this is the Touch Me Pincer. If you've ever played this game more than once, you've probably seen this fight and potentially even game over to this fight. Well, game overing to it is hard because they don't deal much damage, but you can get stuck in this fight for a very long time because they will just spam you with Frog Jab, and every time you try to do anything other than attack, you'll probably fail it And this fight, of course, is a big meme for us over the years because I don't remember what playthrough we were doing, but it was one of our challenge runs. I got stuck in this fight for a long time, and I was, like, raging. And then I realized that this guy, because it goes in order, touch me A, touch me B, touch me C, it goes all the way down to touch me F. And, of course, F, pay respects, the whole meme with that. So Touch Me F became a meme on my channel, and ever since then we've had Touch Me F as a emote. We have Touch Me F merch. I got my mug back here that you can buy on my merch store. Gotta shill the Touch Me F mug. Buy it on my store. You'll love it. Still my most sold merch, by the way, by far, like by a million miles. More people have bought the Touch Me F mug than anything else. What else can we say about this fight? Touch Me uses a frog jab, which both causes and cures frog. And he also uses frog song, which he only uses on enemies that aren't frogs. And everybody, I want everyone to spam boo the remake in the chat. Because in the remake, they removed the awesome name of Touch Me. And they changed his name to Amphidex, which is like the dumbest, most boring name ever. So boo the remake. The remake sucks. Everyone sell your copy of the remake. How could they change this beautiful name of Touch Me F to Amphidex? It's actually heathen behavior. And there's also a really cute concept art. Look at this concept art. This is the cutest concept art I've ever seen in my life. I want to print this out and frame it. Look at this. He's so, like, happy. What in the world? That would make a great mug. We should do a concept art mug. And then I get sued by Square Enix. Yeah, I don't know what the shadow is, not even close. What in the world? He's so happy to ruin your day. But yeah, let's struggle through the Touch Me F fight now. As we just watch everyone get turned into frogs over and over again. We also need to learn frog song, so we'll probably learn it by the end of this fight. Karate Frog Showdown. Yeah, they have probably the best idle animation in the game. I mean, that just the swag of that idle animation. Alright, there's one. We need him to use it on Yuffie now. Alright, good. The poise, the swag. The absolute disrespect of their surroundings. Yeah, I love the sound effect of Frog Song. It's great. There's not too many fights that I would say are like traps or memes, but this is definitely, they knew what they were doing with this. They knew that you were going to be here a long time if you got this fight. I summoned this fight on my own so that we could see it, so the battle music didn't play. I cheated. Because this fight's pretty rare. You have to get specifically a pincer, so you don't get pincers very often. Also, I don't get the name Touch Me. I do wonder if Touch Me was... I wonder if the plan was like when you attack them, you turn into a frog. And then they couldn't code that. So then they just made it so when they attack, they turn you into a frog. It would have been cool if the mechanic worked backwards. Like if you attacked them normally, you turned into a frog. That would have been cool. But they probably couldn't get that to work. I mean, they could have just had it been a counter. Like you attack them and then they just counter with Frog Song or something. But... yes. We wouldn't have the Touch Me F mug if it weren't for the goofy name. I still have only killed 2 of them. They have quite a bit of HP. They have 300 HP, so... That is kind of a different vibe with the main theme playing. But yeah, I can see why this fight became a meme, especially during a challenge run. Especially since they specifically target enemies that are not frogs with Frog Song. With Frog Jab, they can hit anyone, but Frog Song always hits someone that's not a frog. Which makes it a lot worse. Also, they have a ton of MP. They have 74 MP, and Frog Song only costs like 5, I think. So they can use it forever. They haven't even used half their MP yet in this fight. Yeah, you can run once you kill one side. We could also attempt to spam magic. Usually it's not worth it, because you'll just turn into a frog before you cast it, but if you get lucky and get off a beta or something, you'll win. But this is funnier. Yeah, I love that this fight is a trap, but it doesn't necessarily game over you. You're just stuck for a while. You know they had fun making this. This is the opposite of the Arc Dragon fight in the temple that just obliterates you. Also, this is a lot longer because of the text thing. It would normally go a lot faster, but it has to display the text every time. Like Frog Jab takes probably twice as long as normal. Get him red 13. At the very least, Frog Song putting you to sleep is kind of nice, because then when you wake up, you usually get a normal attack. If it didn't put you to sleep, you'd get a bunch of frog attacks that deal no damage. All right, we did it. I love the frog win animation, by the way. Big XP for that fight because there's 6 enemies. Okay, is that it for... Yeah, I think so. So next is Gungaga. So we should stop here. Next week, we get to do the second Turk fight, which I have some fun trivia with Reno, if you remember from the pyramid fight. And then we also get to do the Nightmare Fuel Flower Prong enemy and the Triceratank. So lots of fun enemies coming up in Gungaga. And then we get to do Cosmos stuff, Gi stuff. I wonder if we'll probably make it all the way to the mansion. We got some really fun enemies in the mansion. So yeah, lots of fun stuff coming up. But yeah, we're going to move on to our Final Fantasy X challenge. Before we do that, we got to say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, thank you so much for watching the Final Fantasy VII Enemy Trivia Challenge. This has been so much fun. And again, I know I say it every week, but thank you so much for all the support for this series. It was a lot of work, and it helps so much seeing everyone's support, whether it just be watching on YouTube or joining the Patreon or buying a Touch Me F mug or coming over to the Twitch and supporting with subs here. It helps so much and allows me to continue to do stuff like this. And, with all the support you guys are giving for this playthrough, I would love to look into doing another trivia playthrough for another game. We were talking about it this morning, but I'll have to look into whether or not I can get enough info from another game like Final Fantasy VIII or Final Fantasy IX or Chrono Trigger or something else, where if there's enough interesting enemy trivia, I would love to do another one of these for another game. So all of your support goes towards helping that. So thank you so much. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next episodes of the Final Fantasy VII Enemy Trivia Challenge. Peace.